Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Alpine F1 Manager Career Mode. We're back today. It's time for Zandvoort, and we are hoping that with our new car parts and without penalties this time around, we can have a bit of a better race with both our drivers. Ideally, we'll see Ocon finish ahead of Alonso because obviously Ocon's the guy that's staying on, so we're in his favour. As I say, hopefully this time around without penalties, Ocon will be able to start a lot higher up the grid. In fairness to him, in Belgium, he came out well. He finished ninth. Had he started further up the field, he probably would have been up towards where Alonso was, up in third. So hopefully we'll see that from him this weekend. Car-wise, if we have a look at car analysis compared to the grid, we're kind of slightly higher than most people, but very slightly compared to the grid. And what we really need to work on next is our brake cooling and engine cooling. We're very close to the new time frame for the wind tunnel time. That comes in just after this weekend, so that's when we'll be able to start working on the next parts of the car. We've also got a regulation vote coming up, so we'll let you know what that's going to be at the end of the episode today. And leave a comment down below. Let me know what positions you think we're going to finish in this weekend. Obviously, as it stands, we won't be getting any penalties. Although, you never know. Maybe Hamilton will crash into us both and cause us to have to repair the cars again. You never know. I'll see you ahead of qualifying.
It's another historic weekend of Formula One here at Zandvoort. The track has seen many unforgettable moments, like Gilles Villeneuve's three-wheeled lap at the 1979 Dutch Grand Prix, which cost him victory. What excitement lies ahead this year? There's never a dull moment at Circuit Zandvoort. It's fast, very fast, with long straights and wide curves. But it also features two heavy banked corners, where aerodynamic improvements are sure to help our drivers. With the season nearly concluded, time is running out for the teams. Can anyone make a last-minute breakthrough? Can the leading drivers hold on? Only time will tell. Let's get this underway.
So we've finished practice. In P1, we had Ocon in 10th, Piastri in 13th. P2, we had Ocon in 9th, Alonso in 11th. P3, we had Alonso 14th, Ocon down in 20th after he crashed out. So that was not great for Ocon. We're heading into qualifying. Hopefully we can recover from what happened at the end of practice there, and Ocon can come out with a good performance. We might have to have a little look at some of the car parts, such as this one. I'm actually thinking for Alonso we're going to leave him with the slightly worn engine because it's not to the point of being in danger. And I'm thinking let's have that fresh engine fully ready ahead of the Italian Grand Prix at Monza. And I'm going to do the same with Ocon in that we're going to take a fresh engine at Monza, where I think that will benefit us the most. And hopefully we'll be able to get through the pack with him. Let's head into qualifying. I'll see you at the end of either Q1 or Q2 as usual, depending on how they're going. And we are on the final lap of the Q1 session. Alonso's remained in the pits because he is in third place, more than safe through to Q2. Ocon got caught in a lot of traffic on his outlap, so he is currently down in 19th. He's gone green in sector 1 and 2. We would expect him to be safe and through, but we'll just jump on board as he comes down the main straight here, crosses the line, and that sees him up into 6th place and 100% safe through into Q2. So thought we'd just show you the end of that. As it turns out, wasn't all that needed because it was pretty comfortable. And this time around, as we come towards the end of Q2, we're a little bit closer. Ocon and Alonso are think they did get caught up a tiny bit on their first laps, but not massively. But hopefully we'll see them safely through to Q3 here. As you can see, Perez still in the bottom 5. He's incredibly likely to improve. Hamilton's going to be the first man to cross the line. It's Verstappen who follows him, goes on provisional pole, obviously not quite yet. Sainz crosses the line next. It's going to be Ricciardo moves up, as does Perez. Norris crosses the line now. Alonso crosses the line up to 8th. Ocon crosses the line up to 10th. Magnussen and Gasly still to cross the line. Is Ocon going to get knocked out? Not by Ocon. And not by Magnussen. Just about. We're through to Q3. That was a little bit risky because with Ocon we actually used just one set of tyres through that session. So we used a fresh set at the start and then the same set at the end. So we've now got plenty of sets for Q3 and I think we've even got one save for the race. But took a bit of a risk and it's paid off. So as we head towards the start-finish line to start the final flying laps of Q3, Ocon is ahead of Alonso by about 5 thousandths, I should say. Bottas and Zhou have gone absolutely crazy. They're 3rd and 4th at the moment. They've gone out very early for their final runs. But that Alfa Romeo has clearly got some pace to it here at Zandvoort. As we watch Alonso through Sector 1, only goes orange. So, a little bit of concern there for Alonso. Is he going to be able to improve his time? Ocon, meanwhile, is about to come through to the start of Sector... We don't know what he's done. That's weird. Here comes Bottas. Doesn't improve slightly. Zhou also improves slightly. Alonso's gone green in Sector 2. Ocon, for some reason, we don't know what he did. Who else have we got on track? So Hamilton and Leclerc have just crossed the line. Leclerc is on provisional pole. Here comes Verstappen. Does take back the provisional pole. Russell was next. He goes up to 4th. Alonso was next. He stays 7th. Now we've got Perez. Can he steal provisional pole off his teammate? He can't. Moves up to 3rd. Sainz moves nowhere. And Ocon crosses the line and stays 10th. So we are going to be signed 8th and 10th. At the moment, it looks like Mercedes have got a little bit of a jump on us. They seem to have just improved their car that little bit more than we have, although Lewis Hamilton has got some sort of a grid penalty. It'll be interesting to see what will happen as our next set of upgrades come in, but we do need to try and close that gap if we want to be battling for that 3rd place in the Constructors' Championship. Although, you know, 4th wouldn't be bad for us, but it would be nice to push on.
It's race day with the teams and drivers ready and raring to go.
We didn't see any unexpected prowess from Alpine during qualifying, but they did well for themselves. Everything's still open to them for the race. We saw a reasonable push from Mercedes in qualifying, and they'll have plenty of opportunities here to achieve a great result. And the clouds today look very ominous, which means that teams may have to contend with rain at some point during the race.
So it's time for some fighting between the sand dunes, here at the Dutch Grand Prix.
So as you've just heard there, and as you can see, we are expecting rain at some point today. We don't know when that's going to be coming. And there's not really a way for us to know. Our expected strategies are medium to hards or soft to hards. Or if you want, you can push a soft, medium, soft. That wouldn't be the worst idea if we weren't expecting rain. I don't know if we can find out on this screen when we're expecting the rain. We can promise to gain. I'm going to tell them this. Alonso's going to finish 7th. Ocon's going to finish at least 8th. There we go. Let's see what happens with that. But unfortunately, not able to see when we're expecting rain. If there's a way to do that from this screen, obviously it's too late for this occasion. But please do let me know down in the comments. I'm not aware of one. We are starting 7th and 9th, so it does appear that it is going to be a case of us not knowing. Oh, here we are. Okay. So we're expecting rain pretty early in the race. So on that logic, we're going to go with the soft to hards. We can go absolutely hammer on the softs until the rain starts. And as soon as the rain starts, we can swap them out instantly. That's what we want to go for. We're going to do our usual of attacking off the line. And we also need to knock Alonso. We'll try and go one step that way. I tried knocking it for Q3 one step to the left, and it's actually decreases setup confidence. So we're going to try one step to the right. Hopefully that'll have the opposite effect and increases confidence up to about 89. Ocon at 91%, that takes it out of the zone. So we're just going to leave him at 91 setup confidence. But we're going to go for this. One lap under fuel. Attack until the rain. And then just try and be like the first cars in to pit if we can.
It's a somewhat overcast day for the drivers, who've now taken position on the grid. Looking here at Fernando Alonso. They're in the front half of the pack, so there's plenty of potential for them. Further back, we've got Esteban Ocon. Not as close to the front as they might have wished for, but we know the race order can change a lot during those first few corners. Everything's been building to this. The drivers are ready and the crowds are waiting. It's the Dutch Grand Prix. And it's light.
And here we go.
And away we
So
go.
we'll jump on board with Verstappen just to see what happens into turn 1. Can Leclerc get ahead of him? He just might. No, he can't. So we'll jump on board now with Alonso. I've made an absolute mare of that. He's got past Bottas early on. He's got past Sainz early on. No, he hasn't quite managed to get past him. Ocon is going to try and follow Alonso through. Gets a little bit of the grass as he goes past Bottas. We are straight away past the Alfa Romeos. I think. Yes, we are. Past the Alfa Romeos. Instant impact. Lewis Hamilton's dropped down to last. Oh, of course, we were starting 8th and 10th, and we've started 7th and 9th. Hamilton started from the back of the grid. So, now that means we've got a fantastic chance of outscoring Mercedes on points just purely on the basis of, well, we've got the advantage of 2v1. We'll drop down to our standard neutral and aggressive just to try and make sure that we're not going to push it too hard in this early stage of the race. We need to take advantage of the fact that Hamilton's starting from the back of the grid, particularly because next week in Monza it'll be Ocon's turn to start from the back of the grid. So we definitely want to make sure that on our occasion, with the advantage, we take full advantage of it. You never know, Russell might need to start from the back next week. Ocon's in a good position here, just able to sit behind Alonso. We might even drop him down to balance just while he can sit behind Alonso. Be dragged along by him, and that'll do us good. We're going to just tell him not to fight with his teammate. Just because, as I say, it can mean that we can take advantage of the situation we've got. And hopefully, although I say that, he's already falling back from Alonso. So maybe we do need to stick with aggressive, because he's fallen into the traps of Zhou and Bottas, which is far from ideal. Alonso's gone and set the fastest lap. And Ocon is just about holding off. Honestly, the amount of times it slows you down about fastest lap. Like, you've told me once. So I think we've kind of made a mistake there with Ocon. But we're going to drop both drivers to conserve, because otherwise we're in danger of just under fueling these cars. But at the same time, we need Alonso to stay in touch with the Ferraris, particularly because of the impending rain that will be coming towards the end of our first tyre stint. Let's have a quick look. So Verstappen and Leclerc have gone on to mediums. It's quite impressive then that they've stayed 1 and 2 on the weaker tyres early on in this race. Hamilton's already on the back of this group. Luckily, Ocon's at the front of the group, but already Hamilton is right up there with them. Ocon and Zhou are able to just battle for position a little bit. Alonso's gone and set another fastest lap while he follows this front group, and it slowed us down again for it. Approaching the 75% chance of rain, and it's basically then going to rain until the end of the race, bar some very short spells where it won't. But we won't be coming off the soft tire, off the wet tires in those scenarios. I don't think. The question is it going to be a case of
Still a threat of rain.
us needing to go to full wets? Depending on how the rain comes down, it might be worth a shout of going straight to them. We'll judge it as the rain starts. And we are expected to start within the next 4 minutes now. Let's just jump on board with... wrong camera. Alonso as he follows Carlos Sainz, Sergio Perez, George Russell, Max Verstappen and Charles Leclerc, who are battling. That's kind of the only activity at the minute, is Verstappen and Leclerc swapping places. Ocon.
A little bit of rain developing.
Copy.
Ocon is battling with Bottas, but the rain has started. Now is the time where we're going to have to get our pit stop absolutely right. Let's wait a moment. Just see what the people ahead do. Is Verstappen going to... I'm thinking with Ocon, definitely. Let's pit him straight away. Because we've got nothing to lose by trying it with him.
Box. The one in.
Verstappen is in. Sainz is in. But Alonso stays out along with the other drivers. Here comes Esteban Ocon. There's a lot of drivers coming in. It's a good pit stop for Ocon. Alonso's going to have to pit. Let's just have a quick look. Everybody is going for intermediates so far. I think that's going to have to be the shout. It doesn't look at the moment like the major rain's coming in. Let's have a quick look. This is kind of at... We are expecting heavy rain later in the race. We're going to go just to the intermediates. I don't think it would be the smart thing to do at this rate, to go straight for the full wets. And let's see how everybody else feels about it. At the moment, it looks like everybody is going. I think, actually, that's paid off wonderfully for Alonso. Because look how far back the rest of that group is.
Good job.
Ocon's just got past Norris, who was still out on the softs. Meanwhile, everybody else kind of got stuck behind him. That's huge for Ocon, although Hamilton also up to 9th now, which is not ideal for us. Ocon is kind of in open air at the moment. Quite a bit of space behind him, quite a bit of space out ahead. Alonso is trying to keep pace with the two Ferraris. Latifi is now in the pits. Was he still out on softs? I think he was. That's a bit silly. Well, it does appear that that heavy rain that we were expecting never arrived. So it definitely ended up being the right call to put Alonso onto the wets rather than risking the onto the intermediates rather than risking the wets, I should say. Hamilton has now cleared Bottas. So the problem we've got at the minute is fuel. Both our drivers are using up fuel like no tomorrow, which is not ideal when you've got Ocon being closed down by Lewis Hamilton. At the start of this race, I said it was a good chance for us to get one up on Mercedes. And now all of a sudden, Hamilton's on the back of Ocon and Russell's up in second. It's looking like Mercedes are going to take another strong step forward rather than us being able to close the gap like we were hoping coming into this weekend. Has Hamilton got past Ocon? Not yet. Although, of course, there's no DRS, I would assume. Let's just have a quick look on board. I assume the game's got programmed that you can't have DRS open in the rain. It has. Good. Good. So that makes it a lot harder for Hamilton to attack Esteban Ocon, which is perfect for us, of course. And ideally, it stays that way. Sainz is struggling to keep up with Leclerc. Meanwhile, Alonso is doing pretty well at staying with Carlos Sainz. And Ocon continues to hold up Lewis Hamilton. There's the chance that the rain's going to start coming down heavier. It's just starting now. And it might get even heavier. And we might have to go to the wets for a while. If that's the case, that changes the rest of the race entirely. Because then you've got to figure out if or when you can swap to the intermediates again at the end. Or are you better off leaving the wets on? So that's all yet to come. We're expecting the rain to get heavy in the next 4 minutes. Will it arrive this time? Because obviously we were expecting it to get heavy towards the start of the stint on the intermediates. That one didn't happen. But already the tyres are pretty worn. Oh no. Hamilton's passed Ocon. That's really bad. Again, we're expecting the heavy rain to start, but it hasn't as of yet. Hamilton is making absolute inroads. He's left Ocon in the dust at the moment. And he's closing Alonso down like an absolute madman. The gap's down to 2.5 seconds. His pace is insane. Look at this. He's all over the back of him. That Mercedes has had some crazy upgrades. And we are expecting the rain about to stop potentially. We've got to pit again. But we've got to get it absolutely right if we want to be in a position if we even want to stay in these positions, 6th and 7th.
I lost quite a lot of grip on that lap.
Okay, so
Copy.
we're going to have to pit Ocon very soon. We're expecting rain again. Nobody else is pitting at the moment. Let's leave them out for now and let's just keep an eye on what everybody else does. Nobody else pitting at the moment. What's Hamilton going to do? He's going to go past... Oh no. Bottas has passed Ocon in the same sentence. Verstappen's basically already won the Dutch Grand Prix. Who saw that coming? But where's this rain? The rain's coming back. The rain's coming back. Ocon, get in the pits. I am tempted. Right, let's let Alonso go past. And then we'll bring him in for his set of intermediates. Out comes Ocon, remains 9th. We are relying on this rain now, staying until the end.
Push now.
Copy.
Ocon on the fresh intermediates. Oh, the track's drying up again. How can the track be drying up again? We've got to take this chance. Here comes the pit stop. It's a good pit stop for Alonso there. Nobody else is pitting. Oh, Leclerc's just pit. What's Leclerc done? Leclerc did pit for intermediates. What about the rest of the grid, though? Okay, the rain has come back now. Surely, the rest of the grid isn't going to the end of the race. Look at the state of their tyres. They're 21%. It does appear that a lot of them are going to the end of the race on, like, 20% tyre. No, they've pitted. Oh my goodness, Alonso and Ocon are now ahead of Hamilton and Bottas. But now, if we can hold off Hamilton for the final 7 laps, 6th and 7th can be ours. Let's see what will happen. Russell's pitted and dropped back behind Leclerc. It's so odd how late they left it. Is what I find weird. Hamilton is all over the back of Esteban Ocon at the moment. We need at the very least Alonso to stay ahead of him. We've used a bit of deploy to try and help. We've only got a couple laps to go. And hopefully, a little bit of a hold up there from Latifi did us a favour. Verstappen just crossed the line to start lap 71. And there we go to start. So Verstappen crosses the line for the final time. Esteban Ocon has Lewis Hamilton all over the back of him. Ocon is nowhere near Alonso, so it's looking pretty likely Alonso grabs 6th place. We just need Alonso to hold off Hamilton, and this is kind of the main place where he could be in danger down the straight.
Okay, one more lap.
And he's held him off through to turn 1. And then the next major place will be what's normally the other DRS straight, but obviously at the moment isn't because of the rain. But can Ocon hold off long enough for us to get 6th and 7th? He's got this McLaren just ahead of him. If they can move out the way and hold Hamilton up a touch, that would be delightful. Doesn't look like it's going to happen. We're going to push for the final few corners. Try and just make sure Hamilton can't get near us. Attack down the straight.
That was a checker flag.
Yeah, well done again. Good strategy. Good start.
Nice work, mate. Well managed. Nice checkered flag.
Copy. Yeah, great job, guys. Great teamwork this weekend. Good point.
Well done, that was a tough day. And P1, wait 5 seconds, and P0.
So there we have it. 6th and 7th for Alpine. Not a perfect weekend, particularly because of how easily Hamilton moved up his 12 positions to get points. And also with the performance of Russell this weekend. Russell actually jumps above Ocon with that performance. And Alonso is down to 8 points ahead of Russell and basically 30 points behind Lewis Hamilton. In the Constructors, we are 32 points down on Mercedes at the moment. Despite that, we've got more fastest laps than them. So, what really counts? If we'd have finished in Azerbaijan, we would be in such a different scenario. We've also got a regulation vote for the cost cap to be reduced. I'm going to vote against it because I don't see that that really benefits us. We've got new aerodynamic testing restrictions period, so we can go and develop something new on the car. We will go and do that in just a moment. I'll let you know what we're developing at the start of the next episode, and also I'll give you the result of that regulations vote. If you have enjoyed that, please do leave a like down below. Let me know, do you think that was a good Grand Prix for us? It was mixed in a way, but I mean, for us it was good. It was just the performance of Mercedes that made it a little bit iffy for us, in my opinion. Let me know if you share that sentiment, and subscribe if you're enjoying the content. Thank you very much for watching.